Sometimes, the loudest truths are found in the quietest places. Not in noise, not in chaos, but in the silence between your breaths. Tonight is different, because tonight, God is not just near, He is whispering. If this message resonates with your soul tonight, I gently invite you to share your experience in the comments. Your wisdom may be exactly what another heart needs to hear. Share this message with someone you love, someone who's been wrestling with silence and shadows. And if you feel called to support messages like this, you'll find a donation option in the comments section. Every small contribution helps keep this light shining brighter for those still searching. Welcome, dear soul. Not by accident, not by coincidence, but by divine appointment. You have arrived at the edge of something sacred. It's been building quietly behind the curtain of your life, threading its way through every unanswered prayer, every tear you thought was wasted, every moment that felt like delay. But it wasn't delay. It was divine timing ripening in silence. The world moves fast, but God is timeless. He's not in a hurry, because what He's building in you isn't temporary. It's eternal. You felt it, the restlessness, the ache, the sense that there's something more than what your eyes can see. You've carried questions like stones in your chest. Why now? Why me? When will it all make sense? But tonight, all of that can soften. You don't have to figure it out anymore. You don't have to grip so tightly to your own strength. God never asked you to have it all together. He only asked you to trust the one who does. And tonight, He is closer than your breath. Close your eyes, not to escape, but to arrive. Arrive into yourself. Arrive into the truth that's been calling you since the beginning. The world may have labeled you, misunderstood you, discarded you, but heaven has always known your name. And it wasn't spoken with disappointment. It was spoken with purpose. You were not sent here to fit in. You were sent here to awaken. This is not a normal sleep. This is not a normal night. This is a sacred invitation. And your soul already knows this. You were built for divine encounters, and you are standing at the edge of one now. The world has trained you to measure success by movement, but in the kingdom of God, stillness is power. Silence is strategy. Rest is revelation. And right now, as the noise fades and your mind softens, something deeper rises, a knowing beyond knowledge. An understanding that is not taught, but remembered. You are not being left behind. You are being led within. Not to punish, but to prepare. Not to delay, but to deepen. You see, when God chooses someone, truly chooses them, He hides them first. He sets them apart. He doesn't rush them into the spotlight. He brings them into the secret place. That's where transformation begins, in the cocoon, not the stage. And you, chosen one, have been in your cocoon long enough. The cracks are forming. The light is starting to leak through. You are not breaking down. You are breaking open. There's a reason your path hasn't looked like everyone else's. There's a reason the doors that opened for others stayed shut for you. God wasn't rejecting you. He was reserving you. Because what He is planting inside you cannot be built on shallow soil. You are not ordinary ground. You are sacred terrain. And deep roots take time. But once they grow, they become unshakable. So don't fear this silence. Don't resent this rest. It's not the absence of God. It's the atmosphere of His arrival. You are in holy ground right now. Not out there, but in here, in this invisible sanctuary where your spirit is being strengthened. And while the world sleeps in ignorance, your soul awakens in intimacy. You are being whispered to in ways your mind won't always catch. That's okay. You're not meant to understand it all. You're meant to receive it. Like rain falling on dry land. Like light breaking through clouded skies. It doesn't have to make sense. It just has to soak in. And tonight, as you surrender, God is doing more in your stillness than you ever accomplished in your striving. So sink into the mystery. Let the divine current carry you deeper. You are not alone in this. Thousands are hearing this same call in their spirits right now, across the world. a mass awakening, like stars blinking on in the night. You are not the only one, but you are one of the few who will say yes. And that yes, it changes everything. Your yes is not loud. It doesn't need to be. It echoes in realms the world cannot see. It vibrates beyond your bones, into the places where angels gather and heaven leans closer. That whisper, that surrender, becomes a doorway. And as you rest, 1,000 locks fall open inside you. The things that were shut begin to shift. Not because you fought, but because you let go. Let go, chosen one. Let go of the timelines you gave yourself, the burdens you took on, the expectations that were never yours to carry. Let go of proving, of striving, of needing to earn love you were already born into. Let go of wondering if you're too late, too broken, too tired, too different. God is not concerned with how others see you. He is only concerned with how deeply He can move through you. This is not about religion. This is not about rules. This is about remembrance. Remembering who you were before the world told you otherwise. Before you learned how to shrink yourself. Before you began trading your brilliance for belonging. There is a light inside of you that didn't come from this world, and this world cannot dim it. It's been waiting, and now, in the stillness of this night, it begins to glow again. Somewhere in your story, you began to forget. That's okay. The forgetting was part of the journey. God allowed the forgetting so the remembering could become your power. You didn't get lost. You were sent into the wilderness for a reason. The wilderness was not your punishment. It was your preparation. It's where prophets are shaped, where leaders are refined, where sacred voices are stripped of ego and infused with divine fire. And you, beloved, have been walking through fire. Not because you are weak, but because you are called. God never wastes a flame. Every sleepless night, every tear, every hour you spent wondering if it would ever make sense, all of it has been collecting like incense before heaven. You haven't been walking in circles. You've been orbiting a breakthrough. And this silence you feel right now, it's not emptiness. It's the breath before the trumpet sounds. Even now, heaven is shifting around you. You don't have to see it to believe it. Faith is not sight. Faith is recognition. It's the soul remembering what the eyes have never seen. And your soul knows something sacred is unfolding, something ancient and holy and wild, something your spirit has waited lifetimes to witness. And here you are. You don't need to force it. You don't need to analyze it. You only need to be, to rest in the arms of the one who never left your side. While the world chases power and noise and control, you are being led by stillness, grace, and sacred guidance. You are on a different path because you are a different being. You are not here to blend in. You are here to carry the frequency of remembrance, to walk into spaces and awaken something others forgot they carried. Close your eyes again, not in fear, in reverence, for what you are stepping into is not ordinary. You are standing on thresholds, thin places, where the seen meets the unseen, where spirit meets soul. There are things unfolding in the spirit realm tonight that will take months to reveal in the physical, but it starts now. It starts here. It starts with your yes. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not broken. You are chosen. And chosen ones are often misunderstood, overlooked, and underestimated. That is not your curse. That is your covering. God hid you for a reason, to protect you from what would have corrupted you, to deepen you before the world ever knew your name. You haven't missed your moment. Your moment has been meticulously designed around you. You are becoming fluent in the language of silence. You are learning to hear God not through lightning bolts or burning bushes, but through subtle nudges, divine dreams, sacred impressions. The veil is thinning. The messages are becoming clearer. What used to confuse you now begins to comfort you. You were never abandoned. You were being spoken to in a higher tongue. And in that tongue, there is no rush. There is no shame. There is no pressure to become something other than what you are. There is only presence, pure presence, and that presence is what transforms. You don't become holy by striving. You become holy by surrendering. You don't become powerful by control. You become powerful by yielding. And in this yielding, in this letting go, you are actually stepping into the greatest strength you've ever known. The world taught you to fight. God is teaching you to flow. And this flow is carrying you into alignment, not just with what you want, but with who you were sent here to be. Let yourself be realigned tonight. Let yourself be softened. You've done enough surviving. It's time to begin thriving, not by the world's definition, but by the soul's. The truth awaits, yes, but not out there. It is already within you, waiting for your permission to rise. Let it rise now. You are no longer wandering. You are remembering, not just ideas or facts, but your divine origin. The deeper you go into stillness, the clearer it becomes. You were never ordinary. That ache in your chest, that whisper in your dreams, that quiet knowing you could never quite explain, all of it has been the voice of God calling you back into truth. This truth cannot be taught in books or shouted from pulpits. It is revealed in sacred solitude, in moments of surrender, in the quiet revolution that happens within when you dare to close your eyes and finally listen. Listen not to the noise of this world, but to the sacred current beneath it, the one that has always flowed through you, even in the darkness. And oh, the darkness you faced, but look how you carried light anyway. You didn't wait to feel strong. You didn't wait to feel ready. You loved through brokenness, believed through doubt, held on when everyone else let go. That is the mark of the chosen, to continue shining even when the light seems to have abandoned you. To walk forward even when the path is only visible one step at a time. God saw it all. The tears you cried in secret, the questions you whispered to the night, the moments you nearly gave up. But you didn't. You're still here, and heaven has not forgotten your faithfulness. You may not see it yet, but the reward has already begun to ripple through the unseen. The fruit is growing underground. The roots are spreading. The promise is on its way. There are things God has stored in your future that required every single delay, every detour, every heartbreak. Not one moment of suffering has been wasted. Not one season of silence has gone unseen. The silence was sacred. It was the cocoon before the flight. It was where your wings were formed. Do you feel it now? That gentle shift? The subtle cracking of old layers, like ice melting under a new sun? That's not your imagination. That's awakening. And it doesn't always come loud. Sometimes it arrives like a whisper, like the soft exhale of a divine presence near your ear. You are being reborn, not into someone new, but into who you already were, before the world told you to forget. You don't need to strive anymore. You don't need to chase or force. The doors that are meant for you will not require you to twist into a version of yourself that doesn't feel true. They will open in response to your authenticity, your rest, your deep, inner yes. God is not calling you to perform. He is calling you to remember and receive. Remember this: you are not called to do what others do. You are not meant to run at the pace of the world. You are operating on divine timing, God's timing. That means it will feel different, look different, be misunderstood. But that's okay. You weren't sent here to blend in. You were sent here to awaken others. And the awakening begins in you. Tonight, as you rest, God is healing places in you that haven't felt safe in years. He is mending memories, restoring pieces of your spirit that were shattered long ago. You don't have to relive the pain. Just release it. Let it rise. Let it breathe. Let it go. The night is long enough to hold it, and God is gentle enough to catch it. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are not forgotten. You are becoming. And what you are becoming is not just a healed version of your past self. No, What you are becoming is the truest version of who God imagined before the foundations of the world. Your becoming is not a return. It is an arrival. You are arriving at your assignment, at your fullness, at your truth. The world will tell you to wake up and grind, but the Spirit says, rest and rise. Rest in the arms of grace. Rise in divine timing. Rest in surrender. Rise in sacred power. This is not laziness. This is alignment. This is trust. This is faith. And it is this kind of faith that moves mountains, not because you push, but because you believe. Mountains move when a soul trusts completely. So close your eyes, not to escape, but to enter the realm where truth lives, where peace is not a concept, but a presence, where answers aren't shouted, but whispered in your dreams. God is speaking now, in the breath between thoughts, in the silence between heartbeats. Are you listening? This is the time. This is the turning. This is the sacred hush before the divine unveiling. Don't rush it. Just be here, present, open, available, because God has something to give you that no man could ever offer. And He only gives it when the soul is still enough to receive. Stay with this silence a little longer. Something holy is happening. The silence isn't empty, it's sacred. And in it, your soul is no longer begging for noise, for distraction, for answers from the outside. Instead, you are learning how to feel the truth. You're remembering how to live from the inside out. The world will continue shouting, tempting you with urgency, fear, and comparison, but you've been marked. And because you've been marked, you move differently. The chosen ones don't follow the crowd. They follow the current within. It's quieter, yes, and sometimes lonelier, but it always leads to a deeper truth. You're not being kept hidden because you're being punished. You're being protected while you're being prepared. God doesn't reveal His most precious works in unfinished form. And you, beloved, are a masterpiece in progress. The Spirit inside you already knows this. That's why it's been so restless in shallow places. Why small talk bores you. Why you can't settle for surface-level relationships. Why you crave meaning, even if it isolates you. It's not that you're difficult or dramatic, it's that your soul is tuned to a higher frequency. And shallow living feels like static. That's why you keep getting pulled back into solitude, back into stillness, back into moments that feel like pauses, but they're actually recalibrations. God is not ignoring you. He is fine-tuning you, like a musician tuning their instrument before the grand performance. You're being readied for something magnificent, and when the time comes, you won't have to chase. You'll resonate. You were never meant to fit inside the molds this world created. You were never meant to be tame, convenient, predictable. There is something wild and holy in you. Something that doesn't ask for permission. Something ancient, something sacred, something that remembers what it means to be free. And it's rising now, slowly, powerfully, like dawn behind your ribs. Let it rise. Let it return. The world may have made you feel strange for your sensitivity, for your visions, for your deep empathy. But in the kingdom, those things are your weapons. Your insight is your compass. Your compassion is your strength. Your pain has been your training ground. And now, your presence will be your message. You don't need to preach. You are the sermon. The way you walk, the way you speak, the way you hold space for others, all of it carries God's fingerprint. Because you allowed yourself to be broken, now your very being becomes a balm to others. Your healing becomes a map. Your scars, sacred blueprints of survival. Let the world wonder how you're still standing. Let them try to understand your calm in chaos, your faith in storms, your glow in the dark. They won't get it, not yet. Because what sustains you isn't visible. It's not worldly, it's divine. It's the unseen hand that held you, the whispered promises in your wilderness, the angels that guarded your soul when no one else saw. You are not just surviving anymore. You are ascending. This is your preparation for elevation. Every silent night you endured, every tear that fell into your pillow, every time you forgave without closure, it all counted. It all built something eternal inside of you. And now, you carry a frequency that heaven recognizes. That's why things are shifting, even if you can't explain why. That's why your spirit is stirring, your dreams becoming more vivid, your heart more awake than ever. You're not just healing, you're remembering. And when you remember, truly remember, who you are and whose you are, everything changes. You no longer settle. You no longer seek validation from empty places. You no longer panic when the door doesn't open. Because you know, if it didn't open, it wasn't yours. And if it's meant to be yours, nothing can keep it closed. This is divine detachment. This is the wisdom of the chosen. This is the peace that comes when you stop chasing and start trusting. Because the moment you align, not with fear, but with truth, all that belongs to you begins its journey toward you. Let that truth wrap around you tonight like a warm wind. Let it replace the heaviness on your chest. Let it lift the weight of needing to understand everything. You don't need all the answers right now. You just need to be present, still, available, and God will do the rest. The truth awaits, not in noise, but in the silence after surrender. And you, beloved, are ready to hear it. There's a moment, quiet but unmistakable, when the soul begins to shift. Not because life suddenly becomes easier, or the path finally clears, but because something within you changes. You stop searching for signs outside yourself. You stop begging for permission. You stop doubting your discernment. And instead, you settle into the knowing. You relax into the trust. You accept the silence as sacred. That's when the truth begins to rise, gently, unshakably, from the center of your being. You were never lost. You were always being guided. But the guidance of God doesn't scream. It whispers. And the only way to hear it is to slow down, to close your eyes, to lean into the stillness. You're not crazy for needing quiet. You're not lazy for being tired of constant motion. You are being called back inward, because within you is a temple, not built by human hands, not shaped by systems or labels. It's a holy space, untouched, uncorrupted, where God speaks directly. That's why the world can't give you peace. That's why even the most beautiful distractions feel shallow. Your spirit is too ancient to be satisfied by what's temporary. You need something eternal, and that something is already within you. The lies of this world tried to make you forget. They told you your worth was in your appearance, your status, your productivity. They made you believe you were behind, broken, not enough. But those were all illusions, fabrications of fear. And now you're waking up, not with noise, not with violence, but with grace. This awakening doesn't look like fireworks. It looks like clarity, like peace for no reason, like knowing without needing to explain. It's that soft voice that says, "You're already held." The inner warmth that reminds you, "You're not late." The gentle truth that whispers, "You are already whole." God never needed you to be perfect. He needed you to be present. And now you are, at last. And in this presence, your sensitivity becomes strength. Your vulnerability becomes vision. What the world saw as weakness, heaven calls wisdom. You've been absorbing, watching, feeling deeply your whole life, and now you see what others miss. Now you notice the patterns, the energies, the hidden messages between moments. You aren't imagining it. You are perceiving the unseen. You are spiritually awake. And as the rest of the world numbs itself with noise and speed, you have chosen the slower way, the sacred path, the one that teaches not through shortcuts, but through stillness, through surrender, through divine timing. And because of that, you are aligned with something far greater than luck, logic, or influence. You are aligned with destiny. And destiny doesn't rush. It doesn't panic. It doesn't bend to trends or ego. It waits. It waits for you to become the version of yourself who can hold it, honor it, live it in fullness. And now, little by little, you are becoming that version. With each moment, you choose truth over fear. With every breath, you take in trust instead of tension. Do you feel it? That quiet strength building inside you? That knowing that can't be explained but also can't be denied? That's not imagination. That's not coincidence. That's not wishful thinking. That's God. That's the Holy Spirit confirming what your soul already suspected. You're not who you were. You're not where you used to be. And you're not going back. You are crossing a sacred threshold, one you were always meant to reach. Not because you did everything right, but because you remembered who you are. Because you chose to keep going when you could have given up. Because you chose healing, even when it hurt. Because you chose God, even when it felt like He was silent. And now, heaven moves on your behalf. Not because you begged, but because you believed. You believed when there was no proof. You stayed faithful in the absence of reward. You honored the calling when no one else clapped. And now the reward is alignment. Now the reward is peace. Now the reward is a clear channel between your heart and God's voice. You have become the sanctuary, the very place where the divine lives and breathes and speaks. So close your eyes, breathe deep, and listen. The truth has already arrived, and it sounds just like home. You've been waiting for something, but you didn't know what. A shift, a breakthrough, a sign. You couldn't name it, but your soul recognized it. That subtle turn in the wind, that invisible pressure building behind the scenes. Something ancient in you has been sensing it, and now it's here. The veil is thinning. The illusions that once held you in fear are dissolving. The labels they gave you, the rules they taught you, the shame they placed on you, they're all crumbling. Not because you fought them with force, but because you outgrew them in truth. You've expanded beyond the box they tried to keep you in. You've broken the old contracts made in confusion and survival. You've reclaimed your sovereignty. And now, your spirit is weightless. Because when you finally remember that you were never created to conform, you stop dimming your light to fit in. You stop bending your truth just to be accepted. You stop apologizing for your depth, for your intuition, for your calling. You stop negotiating your purpose just to be palatable. You were not sent here to blend in. You were sent here to be a signal, a divine disruption, to awaken sleeping souls. You are a mirror for those who've forgotten, a voice for those who've been silenced, a presence that carries ancient codes hidden in plain sight. That's why your very existence unsettles some. That's why you've always felt a little out of place, even among the people who love you. That's why you see things differently. You're not here to follow trends. You're here to break chains. The truth doesn't always come with thunder. Sometimes it arrives as a soft breath in the middle of the night. A thought you didn't think. A peace you didn't earn. A knowing you can't explain. And when it comes, it rewrites everything. Not with noise, but with certainty. Not with effort, but with grace. You've entered the season of divine clarity. No more begging for signs. No more over-explaining. No more waiting for external validation. You now know who you are, and more importantly, you know whose you are. And with that knowing comes freedom. Not freedom from responsibility, but freedom from the illusion that you must carry everything alone. Not freedom from pain, but freedom from being defined by it. Not freedom from the unknown, but freedom within it. The kind of freedom that says, I may not know what tomorrow holds, but I know the one who holds me. This is the unshakable peace of divine alignment. And when you're aligned with God, even the storms start to feel sacred. You stop seeing setbacks as punishment, and start recognizing them as redirection. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start wondering, "What is this preparing me for?" You stop fearing closed doors because you trust that what is yours will find you, not by force, but by faith. And faith, it's the most powerful energy on earth. It collapses timelines, it transcends logic. It realigns reality to match divine will. Faith is what moves heaven to act. And you, beloved, have been building faith in the silence. In the nights where you wept and no one saw. In the mornings you rose and no one clapped. In the days you kept showing up, heart full and hands open. Heaven saw everything. And now, it's time. The doors you thought were sealed, they're opening. The answers you longed for, they're being delivered. The peace you prayed for, it's becoming your new normal. Not because you chased it, but because you became it. You are the evidence of God's patience, the proof that slow growth is still holy, the living embodiment of divine grace. So, let the world spin. Let others doubt. Let the storms rage. You are rooted in truth, and that truth is unshakable. You are loved. You are guided. You are chosen. Now, just close your eyes and listen. He's been speaking this whole time, and finally, your soul is quiet enough to hear him.